So I'm Ron Story. Welcome everyone to the speaker co-working session at SpeakerHub. We do this call every day at 12 noon, 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. on a daily basis where speakers from around the world, they join us to learn about how they can get on more stages to promote their products and services. Unlike other traditional speakers bureaus or speaking companies, we work with speakers of all experience levels and payment levels. Our main focus is to help you to get paid every time you speak, whether it's before you show up, during the event, or after the event. So I'm here, I'm joined today with Angela Lewis, our head of operations, and a bunch of my friends that I see on a daily basis. But we do have two new guests, two first timers, Linda Rittenhouse and Mark Andrews. Linda, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself? I think you muted.
Hi, I'm Linda Rittenhouse. That's all you need to know.
That's all good. Mark, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Mark Andrews. I'm an AI literacy consultant, and I'm starting my new business very soon. So excited to meet you all and work with you.
Cool, cool, cool. So, Mark, what is it you speak about?
So I speak about the fundamentals of data science and data strategy as a means to grow businesses in multiple ways. So a lot of, organizations have all these cool new AI tools, and not everyone's really understanding how to successfully use them. So what I'll do is I'll take a team's 40-hour work week and I'll try to save them between 6 and 10 hours a week so they can reinvest that time in development and spending time elsewhere.
Cool, man. Good to see you. Great to meet you today. Linda, you want to tell us a little bit more about you? Or you want to stay a secret?
I'll say something about Miss Linda Rittenhouse.
Okay, I'll let John do it.
Yeah, Miss Linda Rittenhouse is an amazing woman, folks. Don't let the shyness fool you.
I mean, I know I met her before on a call with you, but I
Yeah,
don't want
she
to say
speaks
nothing. So I'm like, if she don't want to
five
say nothing, I don't want to say
languages.
nothing.
She's a poet. She's an author of 20-something plus poetry books. She's an outstanding friend of mine, an assistant, business partner. She's actually edited like 5 or 6 of my books. She's co-hosts our online mind mapping community called Mappineerville. I encouraged her to get on this call so she could start learning more about it. She's actually the one that helped me get my TEDx talk. She's a dynamic, so don't let the smooth smile fool you or the shyness fool you.
Well,
She's on the
Linda,
call to be there.
is John the only
I've
person
known
you've
of
helped?
her too.
Go ahead.
Are you kidding? Yeah, that's all I have capacity for.
Oh, no. I was going to ask, is John the only person you've helped give a TED Talk? Get a TED Talk?
Yes, yes.
Okay. No, I didn't know. If I was like, if she got a TED Talk
no,
booking
it's not-
business, I got you. I'm like, dude, I
not a
can
thing.
get
I'm
you all the
kind
customers you want.
I'm kind of a wordsmith. I've just
Okay.
words are my thing, have been for a long time, and kind of word nerd, kind of. Yes.
Look at that. Mark, you hear that word come up again? I told you, nerd is in the eye of the beholder. You thought
Hey,
I was kidding.
I used to work at a qualitative research agency, so I worked with a lot of word nerds. I love it.
No,
Word.
that's cool. So, yeah, today, guys, I want to talk a little bit about a few things, but are there any wins as we get started? Any new bookings? Any new
I do
outcomes?
have a win. I do have a win in the building. I'm excited about on a podcast I was on several weeks ago. Finally got verbal confirmation of a speaking engagement that they want me to come speak at in Chicago, May 10th. Actually look like it's going to be 3 speaking engagements with one trip. So I'm speaking at 2 high schools and speaking at some other conference that they have, a former NFL player. Yeah, that's super exciting, man. I'm pumped.
John, how dope is that?
Yes, sir.
Right. So John started with this when January or December? Which one?
January,
In January.
late January, I think.
Yep. John came on in mid-January. He's been pitching the heck out of his daggone emails. He's been on a bunch of podcasts. He started a Tuesday and Thursday show on LinkedIn to get more exposure. Yesterday I had to make a hard decision. And a lot of the speakers that use SpeakerHub, they are just looking for paid speaking gigs up front, right? So when we bought the company, that's what it was full of. People that were kind of entitled, for lack of a better word. Someone should pay me to talk. And I'm like, dude, like, but what do you do after that? You can't just do that. You're only getting paid when you show up. So, I'm like, my folks are the folks who speak to promote. That's really the people that I deal with on a daily basis. Those are the people that I can really lead. So, we made that transition internally inside of SpeakerHub, but we hadn't really pushed it externally. And, so as we've been teaching more and more this year, even with the conference that we have coming up called Product, that's where we live. That's where we're going to win, guys. We're going to win by having products and services to promote. At our, I think we may have moved it to June, but we got this big conference we're planning where we're going to bring the best people that have sold from the stage, right? And they sell their products through going on podcasts, through going to local associations and talking, getting consulting contracts, right? Because that's where the real money is. Nobody in the history of Earth wanted to pay me to show up to speak. I buy SpeakerHub, everybody invites me to speak now. No, I ain't changed. Nothing about me has changed, right? But I always turn down the fees because I know I want to sell my product. And if you accept the fee up front, they're usually not going to let you pitch, right? So if you're getting paid under $10,000 per speaking gig, you probably should develop a product to pitch because that's where you're going to make the money. And you can go on every stage for free and get clients out of the audience and eat way more than the speakers who are looking for speaker fees up front. Remember, I used to book these guys. We do a bunch of surveying. They're doing less than 5 gigs a year. So let's not be poor. We will not have poor speakers on SpeakerHub. We're going to help y'all make some money. So I'm going to help you promote the hell out of yourselves. Linda, what's up?
When are you opening applications for speakers for your conference?
Oh, you want to talk about your stuff? We don't even know what you do.
No, I just want to be first in line to nominate John Diggs. That's all.
Okay, okay. So let's do it right now. We're gonna vote on John right now. Let's vote him off the island. Like we remember Survivor. This is Speaker Survivor right now, right? So what's your pitch? Here it is. Let's see your wordsmithing for John.
Oh, wow. All right. If you want
to be first, here's your chance.
If you want a dynamic speaker that brings value to any conference, let John Diggs show you how to use mind mapping to improve every aspect of your life, well-being, health, and happiness.
Cool.
Nice. Thank you.
Let me tell you why that was incredible, Linda.
Why?
We teach your first statement should be 10 seconds.
Oh.
And guess what she did? She gave us her 10-second statement, right? So now, cool, tell me more.
Well, John Diggs is a world recognized best-selling author, a TEDx speaker who has turned adversity into a gift for all of us. His I Am system helps people dive into what truly will help them be happy. And he lets you dig into the layers of who you are to start with so that you can build on the 4 anchors of happiness.
Cool, perfect. High five. Great 30 seconds, right? So here's what we teach. We teach 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 3 minutes. So the 10 seconds should say, man, tell me more. The 30 seconds should go a little bit deeper and open up other questions for you to tell longer stories, right? Now, what y'all think? You think she did a good job? I give her 8.5 out of 10, considering that was on the spot. And this isn't what she do, but she volunteered, so let's go. That was a good job. Really good job, considering.
You're very gracious.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
No. Wait, we all know, everybody who's been here, we hear people introduce themselves and they go on for 9 minutes. We're like, wait a minute, she did it in 10 seconds? She already had an 8 just by doing that part, right? Right. So high five, Linda. How many of y'all would like to learn about mind mapping? Do you think mind mapping would help you in your business and organizing what you're trying to do? Is that something you would like John to come and talk about? Yeah, yeah. I mean, no need to be
can.
embarrassed. Yes, no?
Yes.
Cool. John, we got you. You're our 10th speaker. Done.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you, sir.
yeah, way to go. So add you to the list. You're the first client speaker that we've chosen, right? Last year we used Seiran. Seiran was a great example of proactivity with all of the pitches that she said. So I wanted her to come on to talk about that because the title of our system was proactive, right? So John, look, high five. Let's
Thank
go.
you, brother.
Let's do it. Mind mapping.
Promise to do
We're gonna
do
put
my
it.
very best too to add value. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank
How much did she get paid now? She just
you.
got you a gig live.
Well, it
Yeah, I
sound
mean,
like
dude,
sound
wait.
like she's jockeying for a bonus.
Wait, let's not act like this is a small deal. SpeakerHub has 64,000 customers that we work with that'll be invited to this. Outside of all the other marketing, we have another 70,000 people in LinkedIn groups that are all being invited to this thing. John, I don't think you understand how big of a deal this is. Linda, super duper 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 high five for
Thank you.
pitching.
Thank you, Ron, too. I appreciate it, brother.
Yeah. So that kind of leads into what I want to talk about today, right? Most of us, how many of y'all have ever heard of a business that went out of business because they sold too much? Right? So most of the time, people go out of business because they're not offering their services enough. Does that make sense? We've been on here every day. A lot of y'all been on here every day. I talk about the upcoming summit all the time, and nobody's ever pitched, right? When what's her name brought up her book, bought the book. Last night, a young lady was talking about, I thought about offering my thing, and I'm like, cool. You got 2 minutes. Send me a link. I'll buy it. Boy, she struggled. She started sweating. Like she was like, I gotta get the link. Took her 10 minutes to get me a link. Right? But I want you all to understand. I'll let Ange hop in.
Yeah.
I want you all to understand that it is important to be ready. You just never know who could buy your stuff. But go ahead, Ange.
Well, last night it was the price point. So she had digital products on her site and they were like $400 or $500. And you're like, oh no, we need one that's at a price point where people aren't questioning whether or not to buy. So that was a really good lesson.
Like here's the great thing. I think you can sell anything for under 27 bucks. It's an emotional decision. It's like, dude, I like what they're talking about. They got a money back guarantee. I'll just give them 27 bucks just to even look at it. Right? So if you look at Facebook ads, everything on there is $17, $7, $27. You never see something for $5,000 on Facebook. Right? Because they want you to make that emotional decision. So as we get into the summit, I'm going to teach an entire thing about how do you do an offer stack to gather leads and to make more products. Now, I'm probably going to try to meet with John beforehand for him to help me to mind map my offer stack so that I can present it in the right way. I already know how we're going to talk about it. And we're going to introduce something to you all next week. You already know about the speaker flywheel. Y'all familiar with that? But we've been talking about modalities. How do you go in and explain what product should I be talking about on a podcast? What product should I talk about here, let me show you. This is something we go over all the time, right? So Linda, while you was talking, I was looking you up to make sure, since you didn't want to tell us who you were, I be doing research. Don't be, you ain't gonna come over here and not know, I'm not gonna know who you are. We work over here, right? I'm multitasking, right? I'm using HI, human intelligence, to find out who you are. So what I wanted to share is these are the different modalities in which, depending on what type of stage you're being on, what types of products you should be offering to that audience. Does that make sense? And we share this with everybody. I'll give you a copy of it. But we're turning this into something called the promoter flywheel. So the speaker flywheel is the type of stage. Juliana Juliana and Maria are building out the promoter flywheel that'll be available next week that tells you what products and services to sell on those stages. Does this make sense? So imagine knowing what you should already have queued up before you go on that podcast. Imagine knowing, yo, I'm going to be in a room with these executives. Here's the services that my call to action should be focused around. Hey guys, if you need someone to come to your workshop, to come do a workshop for your sales team or your marketing team, bring me in and I can kind of help them with whatever, right? I need to know that before I get on the show. Is that making sense? If I'm going to do a conference, I need to have dual propositions. Number one, I need to know what I'm going to pitch from the stage, but I also need to know what I'm going to have at my table. Because the audience at the conference is going to be mixed. There's going to be your consumer audiences plus your corporate audiences. So they may hear you dog whistle something from the stage, but when they go meet you in the back of the room, they may want to buy a book. They may want to, get something else. So we're going to give you all of those things that you should be thinking about as a promoter. At SpeakerHub, do we believe in free speech? Say no, please. No. Every time you open your mouth, you should be getting paid. But it's up to you to determine how you get paid. Does that make sense? We don't speak for free. We speak to get paid. If they're going to pay us up front, I want that too. But even if they don't, I'm going to go get my money out of the crowd. Make sense? So John, here's what you get. When you speak at the Pro Speaker Summit, you get a 45-minute interview with me. It's not a presentation, it's an interview talking about the value of what you do. Why? Because when you meet with a regular client, you can't pull out a daggone PowerPoint. You got to be able to explain to them in a conversation what you do. That's why we do it that way. As an example to our clients who are going to be having these similar conversations. But here's the cool thing. You get to give them a resource. That's a link to a book, a link to a worksheet, a link to a video, something for you to help them to take the next step. Got it? But here's the cool thing. Unlike Amazon, unlike Udemy and all these other places, everybody who attends your session, you get their first name, last name, and email address. You get their first name, last name, and email address. Now, is this an upfront paid opportunity? No, it's not. But damn, do we pay you on the back end. You can take those leads and turn them into whatever you want to turn them into for those who registered. The resources are still up. They never come down. So when you go over to Pro Speaker Summit, right? So these are the speakers from last year. Me, Ross Bernstein, Ruby, Matt, Tanya McKenzie, Les Brown, Sean Fair, all of these speakers are there. Here are the resources that those who wanted to offer resources made available. We had 36 speakers. We can kind of see who the promoters were. Right? You see the difference? So these folks are like, nah, I need these leads. I'm gonna give you the link because I want those folks. The other folks, that really wasn't their thing. They were more speakers, right? And they were on there to talk about how they book gigs. This next thing is about how do you make money? How do you promote product? So, John, I know your assistant, Linda, was great at pitching you. I'm gonna give you the 3-minute opportunity right now to make your offer, right? So this is what we got to practice. This is what he's been on. He's been on there every day for the last 3 months, hearing us talk about all this stuff. Linda already did the 10-second and the 30-second. Tell us what you do and how we can buy your products and services.
Good. My name is John Diggs. I'm a Mapineering mentor. I assist people with using mind maps to love and live their best lives. I do that by way of books. I've written several books that can be found. I have some online mini courses as well as max courses. I lead workshops and I also perform keynote. All of that can be found at johndiggs.com, or for those that are really interested, can email me directly at john@johndiggs.com.
Perfect. Cool. Good job. Good job. So what did you all think? Couple great things. Strong call to action, right? johndiggs.com. It's really easy to understand. International Consulting Breakthroughs.com. That's hard to remember. It's too many letters. Right? JohnDiggs.com. His companies will change, but his name won't. People still know me as Ron Story Jr., even though I used to run 5 Contacts. We had PitchDB. PitchDB still exists. They'll have to look for me over there. PR Pitches, SpeakerHub, right? I don't need to remember all of them. They just need to remember me, because in 5 years, if I sell these businesses, those people are still a fan of who? Me. We're in the era of personal brands. Build your personal brand. Let me show you why this is super duper duper important, right? Because this is a killer topic. I'm going to go to Facebook ads library, right? When I come into the Facebook ads library, I'm going to look in here and I'm going to find the ads that are by Russell Brunson. Let me make sure I got all of him, not somebody else. So how many followers does Russell Brunson have? You see that? What does it say? 1.4 million on Instagram. Y'all see that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, watch this. This is Russell's company that does $300 million a year or so. How many followers does ClickFunnels have? A third of that. Why is that so important? People don't want to follow your company. They want to follow you, because that's where the connection is. They're buying you, and then your company is just an expression of your intellectual property. Does that make sense? Whenever you talk to somebody at SpeakerHub, you should feel like you're talking to me, because I'm the dude at the top, and I should be passing that IP down to my assistant. Nobody on here is surprised that Linda talks like John. Nobody is surprised that she has the same personality as John. John has jokes all the time. So when Linda said, I ain't telling you nothing else, that's the same thing John does to us every day. Right? So the personal brand filters down into the people. Does this make sense? So, but you see how Russell is out front, and I'll show you that, but he has more followers than the company. So don't spend a bunch of time, in my opinion, building up your company's social media profiles. Build yours, because they're going to buy into you. They're going to be, they're going to relate more to the human than to the logo. So when we come over here, all of his stuff never mentions the company. It's just him trying to sell his personal branding stuff, his books, all of those things, his formats, his frameworks, all of those things. And once you get the book, once you get all of that, then he says, you know what makes it easier? My company. Does that make sense, Mark? So, Mark, what you would do is explain some concept that people don't really understand, that they're not going to go to OpenAI to learn. More people know Sam Altman than know OpenAI. Everybody knows Steve Jobs more than Apple. Even if you have an Android, you know who Steve Jobs is. We know Elon over Tesla, right? These personal brands are really important. That's the era that we're in. So you promote your frameworks first, because if they don't believe in your framework, they're never buying from your company. Got it? So why did I want John to come on and to talk about that? Because I want to do my teaching today on the big domino again. Because that's what that 3-minute talk is about. That 3-minute talk is all about the big domino. And if you get that wrong, it's hard for people to take the next steps, because they don't know what to believe. Right? So let's walk through it. Everybody who's ever had a meeting with me, or you've ever been on a call with me, the first thing I ask you about is, hey, what do you talk about? What do you do? And you've seen me do it on the call all the time. Hey, okay, cool. I think we can help you. I'm Ron Story. I help speakers to get booked for more paid speaking gigs, podcast interviews, and press coverage. We do that using something called what? The Speaker Flywheel.
Speaker Flywheel.
Yeah, that's the vehicle that they need to hop in. If they don't believe in the flywheel, they don't need to come over here. Right? So, John, in your 3 minutes, tell me what a mind map is.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I don't believe in mind mapping, I ain't going to buy your book. I don't care how good your call to action is. I didn't know what vehicle I was getting in.
Right.
So you got to be able to tell the story. I was a former NFL player. I went through this. I lost this. I was in the mortgage business. This affected me. I lived in my car. All of those stories that you've told us before,
Mm-hmm.
they didn't come up. Did you notice
Right.
that?
Right. Right.
But that's the thing that lets me know that mind mapping works.
Yep.
Because that was how cloudy you were first before you got into the vehicle. Is this making sense? So I need to know your origin story, Mark, like the Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Batman and Spider-Man. Batman got bit by a spider. Jay-Z grew up in the Marcy projects. Everybody, Justin Bieber was singing on the corner in Canada. We all have an origin story. That's what makes us like you. But the origin story starts, and then we made this discovery, which was the vehicle that we want people to believe. If we think about it in regards to,
So, Ronnie, you talking about sharing the origin story in the little 3 minutes?
yeah, hey, yo, I was doing this, blah, blah, blah. Look, I gave you 3 minutes. You took 37 seconds. I watched
Yeah.
it, right?
Okay, I get it.
Does that make sense? You
It
all know,
does.
hey, yo, I used to run an agency. I work with over 1,000 speakers. I sent 500,000 emails. I booked 10,000 meetings. You hear me say that every day in my first 3 minutes after someone introduces themselves. The only reason I didn't do it today with Mark is because I had just did it 15 minutes ago with Mark. But Mark will tell you, I walked through that origin story. Does that make sense? So then that sets up how I discovered the vehicle. We call that an epiphany bridge. That was the moment when I got the epiphany. Right? Make sense? So, how do you get your epiphany? The first thing, you can earn it, meaning you did the work to find out how it worked. Does that make sense? The second thing is you can learn it. I hung out with AJ and I just watched what he was doing. That's a valid way to learn how to do something. My mama taught me how to cook certain things by me watching. She didn't cook me, I watched her cook. Right? Right? So you can earn it by learning it on your own through trial and error, or you can learn it by watching somebody else or being taught. Is that fair? The third way is you can buy it. If I went and I bought a Kentucky Fried Chicken tomorrow, it will taste just like Colonel Sanders because I bought license to the recipe. Does that make sense? So when we think about the vehicle, how did I discover this vehicle? We hear it all the time. Oh, I was on a safari trip in Honduras. They ain't even got safaris in Honduras, but I was on a jungle trip in Honduras, and the locals told me about a very special berry that relieved heart pain and diabetes, headache, heartburn, diabetes, right? And that's how I came up with Pepto-Bismol. Like, we hear these goofy origin stories all the time. Did they earn it? No. Did they learn it? Yes. Did they kind of buy it? Yeah, when they bought the whole field that had all the Pepto-Bismol berries in it. Is this making sense? So once you tell that story, your origin story, now, John, you're going to get a chance to redeem yourself. So I don't want you to think I just threw you under the bridge. I'm going to bring you back up in a minute, but you got to tell the origin story. Now, if I don't believe in the vehicle, because we all have doubts, so I got to deal with the internal and the external parts of the doubt. Right? The internal is, can you do it? Does it work? I ain't good enough. Man, this ain't going to work for me. That's all internal. The external is it working for other people? Watch this. Let me show you. Let me show you how we demonstrate this. Everybody has seen me go to this page. How many times y'all seen me go to this page? I got a reward. I'll buy lunch for who can answer this next question right. We'll cash up you the lunch money, right? What's the next step that I do every time when I show this page? Wait, hold on. Wait. Put it in the chat. Let's put it in the chat. Give everybody a free chance to answer. First one that puts the answer in the chat. Uh-oh, AJ put in there. Show how you rank. Who else? Let's see. What's the other ones? Anybody else gonna put it in the chat? Show us I don't know what the Sean page is.
Show Sean Fair.
Sean's
Sean's
page.
page.
That's a good one. That's a good one too. That is, say Ron, that's a highlight somebody.
Yeah, you always talk about him.
Yep. Speakers and testimonials, right? So here's what we do. Every time you see me come over here and I say, hey, let's pick somebody like Laura Bloom. And I bring them right over to Google and I say, this is how inbound works. And I type in Laura Bloom. And I show that Laura has 85 different people that may not be her. We show their evil twin sisters. And then we type speaker behind their name as a way to show if they're going to pop up in SpeakerHub, right? And they keep changing. Did I spell her name wrong? Laura. Yeah, that's why it didn't come up. Even Google's smarter than me. Right? So we put in Laura Bloom speaker. There's her page. Her SpeakerHub page didn't come up this time, which I'm okay with. Oh, there it is. Right there. Number one. Laura Bloom pops up. Bam. In images. Right? So that's what we do. Why? Because there's her page. Why do I want to do this? Because it solves the external thing. Is this working for other people? This ain't go, yeah, but blah, blah, blah. Cool. So I can show examples. That's my external beliefs. Whoa, other people popping up. Maybe that'll work for me. But then I bring you into internal and I put in your information. Whose name do you think is going to be in this My Branding Kit? Oh, it's Mark Andrews. So how do I show that it works for Mark? I put his stuff in there to overcome all the beliefs that we don't have his topics. We ain't new to this, guys. We true to it. I live it in front of you every single day. Right? So now it ain't that hard to see why we 5X the company in 6 months. It's because we're just following basic sales tactics. I got to get you to believe that the speaker flywheel works. I got to show you how it's working for other people. And then I got to show you how it works for you. And then I just make an offer to you. I bring you around other people that are doing it. Right? Does this make sense? Is this fair? Mark, is this something you think you could implement? Would this help you to get more clients?
I've learned more in the last 45 minutes than I have this whole year on. So this is amazing. I'm sold. I'm sold.
High five to you, right? So what that's called, what I just did is called a trial close, right? So we can get into all these sales techniques that I didn't used to talk about with the other speakers because they didn't want to learn this stuff, right? We bringing all of it. I'm bringing the suitcase, right? But this is it, right? So John, here's how you do it. I want to hear your origin story.
Mm-hmm.
How did you arrive at mind mapping working for you?
Mm-hmm.
I need you to overcome all of my internal, man, I don't have time to do it. Man, this is something for Ange to do. You remember I gave you those objections, right? Pass that to Ange. Ange will handle that, right? I need you to I got to get over my internal beliefs, but then externally, I need the external objections also.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So tell me your origin story. Give me your solution. Tell me how I can overcome my internal struggles. If it's going to take too long, it ain't going to work for me. And then tell me how it's going to help my organization.
Got it. Okay.
Got it? Cool.
Yeah.
John, you're up.
Yeah, with John Diggs here. After a successful professional football career, as well as even a more successful business career in the late 90s and early 2000s, I essentially lost everything due to the mortgage meltdown and the recession. We're making a millionaire lifestyle to being homeless, forced at my mom's house, really at the lowest part of my life. Then I discovered mind mapping and everything transformed. Mind mapping gave me the clarity, the vision to clarify who I am in my life and what I needed to do to actually love and live my best life. And since discovering mind mapping, I went on to build one of the top mortgage software development companies, totally transform my life and truly living life on my terms by the way of what mind mapping has done for me. Since COVID, I've decided to really share this power of mind mapping, this tool with the world, and wrote books, created online mini courses, do one-on-one coaching, have an online community, really just passionate about sharing the power of mind mapping with the world because I know there's other people that may need this tool to transform their life, like it's done for me. And for what it will do for you specifically is really give you a tool that will allow you to see all of the things that you're considering or need to think in a greater perspective, to give you greater clarity, to make more effective decisions, efficiently solve problems, goal set, self-actualize, and really put yourself in the best position to love and live your best life. You can reach me if you're interested. I would love to work with you and help you. It's a passion of mine. You can reach me at johndiggs.com.
Dude, tell me that ain't better. Did you see that? The first one versus that. He used all the time. He talked about his story. It got us engaged in who he was. Why? Because we got some of the same stories. Nobody's road from starting a business to making some money is straight. It's like this. It's a bunch of ups and downs, even in our own personal lives. Does that make sense? So mind mapping just doesn't work for business. It works for personal. So that's that's the only part I would coach you on, John, if you would accept it.
Yes.
This origin story was great. The vehicle was great. The external uses was great, but you left out the internal excuses. My internal excuse is I don't have a business, so I don't need it. Or, I got a business. This is about personal stuff. You got to address that part.
Okay.
Right? So after you said, I discovered mind mapping and it's been a great tool that clarified everything in my life. What I realized is that not only did it help my personal life, but it helps my business life. On the personal side, because I'm already busy working, doing all these other things, this saved me so much time. The 2 hours I invested in mind mapping things saved me 20 hours in the next month because I had already thought through how these things would work. In our business, it organized how our business worked. We would have a lot of useless meetings, but I showed our managers how to mind map our meetings before we go in. So now our meetings and our leadership is a lot more clear. I can sell your stuff, bro, but I'm just telling you, it's only because I understand the format of selling. Right? So you see how I addressed all the objections for the internally, what people are saying to themselves. Yeah. Selling is about addressing the question that already exists in your prospect's mind. Right? Because I know what my excuses would have been to mind map, but that's why I was able to do that.
Good stuff, though. Great feedback.
But do you see how once you address that and then you go to the call to action, everything changes because you're like, well, he understands me. Dad, yeah, I was thinking that he got me. Yep, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Man, I really appreciate not just your feedback, but just put me on my toes and get me on my spot, and just I wasn't prepared to, have this kind of conversation or engagement. And I'm glad you kind of called me on it because I need to be ready, like you said, to have these kind of conversations. So thank you for that. Appreciate it.
High five, man, because this is what we do. In regular life, nobody comes up to us, hey, in about 15 minutes, I'm going to come over to ask you about data science. They ain't doing that. They catch you in the elevator. Yo, man, what you do? That's a nice headphones. Oh, yeah, I'm a data scientist. I help people to do this. You got 10 seconds to get them to ask you, really, that's interesting. How does that work? Then you got 30 seconds, right? And depending on how much time, they may say, yo, wait a minute. Yo, can we set up a call? I want to talk about it. When you get them on that call, you got 3 freaking minutes. I didn't just make up the 10-second, 30-second, 3-minute thing. That is how it works. The first 3 minutes of the call, they already know whether they listening to you or not. Does that make sense? This is John. This is a game changer, dude. High five to you for having the courage to be coachable, to be willing to get better. He improved in 20 minutes. Incredible. I can tell you actually did play professional football. You're coachable. So at first I didn't think you really played. I thought you was.
I got the broken fingers to show you, brother.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Look at that.
I got the screws in the knee to show you, brother.
Hey man, I didn't think they had a helmet big enough to go over your head. That is so funny.
I borrowed yours.
No, man.
That's how they came up with those safety things now. They got the mold from John.
Hey,
Dude,
hey.
This is the helmet John played in. This was John had that the dude from the University of Illinois. I can't think of his name. He had the University of Illinois helmet on, man. That's so funny. All right, Jasmine, what's up? Feedback, comments, concerns, ideas.
Great. Okay, great role playing there for you, John. But I want to stress, yesterday when you were on, you noticed I had to jump off to go do a podcast. And what we discussed yesterday, in being on point, staying on point, excuse me, I was very calm. And they wanted an extra long recording, like almost an hour. So it's an hour of information and breaking down the burnout framework. But, I was calmer for some reason. I was even like catching myself, thinking, oh my God, you're convincing me and I'm the one that's speaking. So long story short, you know how they speak to you ahead and they speak to you after. She said, would you mind if we do? I think we need to have a part 2 to this. Not only this hour, but a part 2. And as well, there were 2 hosts that were there. And, Bethany said to me, Jasmine, I would like to talk to you off camera. I mean, off this when we finish, a personal conversation and how you can work me through the burnout pie using the framework, because she's never heard that before.
Look at that. That's a sale.
Yes. Yes.
Jasmine, high freaking five.
Yes. Yes.
Dude, so
that was yesterday.
That was a paid podcast. You got a customer from a podcast. That's what it's about, guys. Like all this pay me to come and sing and dance. Y'all gonna hate it over here because you're gonna watch people getting paid. You're gonna watch folks making money off of their podcast, off of their products and services, selling their books, selling all of their stuff.
She was very smart in doing the recording. She hypothetically said, let's say, for instance, you come to my organization and I'm one of this employee that you had to work with one-on-one. How would you take me through the steps of being, and she gave an example, I don't get along with my peers, and it's always from the burnout, it leaks into it, why you act a certain way. So she said to me, would you just say, I have to do this, or would you collaborate with me? So I had to give her a professional point of view. And I had to say, well, okay, I will see, for instance, you're not getting your 8-hour sleep at night. And, but you're okay with it because you're that type of person that can function on less than 8 hours. Now I'm going to have to take you back into the workplace. And I'm going to say, okay, from the minute you walk into the workplace, you're going to have to go through the steps and tell me why you don't get along with people. And we went back and forth online of how that would happen, how she, in being in the workplace and not understanding that wellness is not physical, but holistic. And you know why I chose workplace is because we take it from the work. You spend more hours at work and you take it into the community, and it's also individual. And that's when she decided she wanted to work with me.
Yeah,
Because I
that's a
could be
huge-
on camera telling her a scenario.
Well, the great thing about it, you got to be able to demonstrate your expertise. So if you're a thought leader, you cannot do that over 30 seconds on TikTok doing this. You ain't selling nothing that way. But you go in and you do a workshop with 20 executives, they can see whether you know your stuff. Right? If when I explain the speaker Flywheel, I'm like, hey, guess what? You're gonna make $3 million the first podcast you go on. You like, you lying. Your body language says you're lying, dude. Like, we don't believe you. Right? But when you in front of people, we are human lie detectors. So when you're in front of people, they know whether you know your stuff or not. They know if it's a new topic for you and you just following the trend. See, I talk to people all the time, speakers who tell me that they do AI. And I ask them a basic question. Yo, what's your thoughts on embeddings? And if they're lost, they don't do AI. John knows what embeddings are. John's a data scientist. He totally gets it. Ask people, what's your thoughts on embeddings? Huh? Cool. I know, bro. You about to teach people Chat GPT. That ain't AI. That is Chat GPT. You have no idea about vectors or anything. You are just talking. But it's okay. We got Mark. Mark's gonna come in and make you look bad. And he's gonna sell a consulting contract. So that's what we do. We want to get the people that have the real expertise on stage. Make sense? Bart, what's up?
Hey, back to the big domino.
Yep.
On a diagram.
Yep, I'm bringing it up right now. Let me get John's head off the screen and go back to the big domino.
You just loving on me today. I just love it. I love it. I'm gonna have to go out and get me some milk duds.
Your brothers from a different mother, both of you.
Hey, no, I appreciate it, John. Go ahead, Bart.
And the external, what is that?
Yep. So internal is the things that I'm having excuses with, right? Oh, I don't have the time. Yeah, all of that. External is, yeah, that's cool, but my car is too small to put that in. Right? The price is too high. It's something outside of them because they can't deny that it will work. It's just the excuse as to why it won't work for them. It's something outside of that person. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get that. I didn't associate with what you just said with the word that, but I understand what you're verbally saying.
But that's what it's about. This is about me, the internal thing.
Yep.
External stuff is something out there. Yeah, that's cool, but it won't fit in my office, or it won't do this, or that the colors are too bright. Right? So it's the external things. Make sense?
Yeah.
So let me show you. See if I can bring up another one. If you don't have the book, right? So this is how we teach. This is what we were just teaching, right? High five to Russell Brunson, ClickFunnels. They do a great job of teaching these things. I live and die by it. My team don't like ClickFunnels. They use another company, but I'm like, whatever. Y'all can stay over there. But put my personal stuff on ClickFunnels. No, I don't get paid for saying that. I'm just telling you that I believe in what he's doing, so I support him financially, right? But you notice the big domino comes from what? The origin story, John. And then I got to take you about that epiphany bridge. What did I learn it? What did I run into? How did I figure it out? Right? So I ran into a wall. This is what I had to deal with internally. The external things, right? Here's the checklist. Follow that for winners. Don't do it for losers. But if I don't believe, let me give you the religious example of this. And it's the easiest one that everyone understands. If you're into Christianity, what do you need to believe? That Jesus died for your sins. If you're into Judaism, what do you need to believe? That Moses put everything you need to know in the first 5 books of the Bible. If you're into Islam, what do you need to believe? That Jesus wasn't the only prophet. then you could listen to Muhammad also. If you're going to be agnostic, what do you need to believe? That don't none of this other crap matter because God don't exist. Make sense? If you enter that without the core belief, you're going to be upset. If you go over to, if you're trying to be atheist or agnostic and you're saying, you know, man, but Jesus died for my sins. Wait. We don't believe none of that over here. If you go into a church and you say, man, God don't exist, they're gonna be like, wait. You gotta go outside with that. Right? You go to the synagogue and you say, yeah, but what about Jesus? They're like, hey, son. Wait a minute. Let me have a talk with you for a minute. Right? So you see how that core belief, if they don't believe that thing, they're not reading the Bible, they're not reading the Torah, they're not reading the Quran. We can do it with Buddhism too. They're not reading the, I think, Bhagavad Gita, right? So the core belief is the foundation. So if you don't make me believe that mind mapping is better than Kanban boards, then I ain't going to mind mapping, I'm going to Kanban. If AJ can't make me believe that doing a small conference can be more profitable than doing this big conference, I ain't doing a small conference because I'm trying to make money. That's the goal. The key is, where are you trying to take them? Why do I use religion? Because everybody over there, they trying to go to heaven. They got to choose which vehicle they want to be in. Am I going to get in the Jewish car, the Christian car, the atheist car, the Muslim car, the Buddhism car? Heaven can be peace of mind, peace in life. It don't have to be an actual place. But we're trying to find some type of peace. Does that make sense? Now, why do we start with the origin story? John, does your origin story change?
Nope.
Nope. Can anybody argue with your origin story?
Nope.
So you don't even care about the haters because they can't argue with you. But when you make up stuff, this is the advantage we have over AI. AI doesn't have an origin story. AI isn't emotional. It isn't relatable. If AI starts saying, you know, my 3-year-old daughter, like, dude, get out of here. Like, you ain't got a 3-year-old daughter. You're open AI. This is what gives us the advantage over AI. Does that make sense? Now, let's go into the last few minutes, because this whole thing is your story. That's the story part of what we do. Right? So when we go into hook, story, offer, let me pull it up here. When we think about the hook, story, and offer, we got a lot of different ways to get people into that story that John told. If he hears, man, my management meetings are terrible. Cool, let me show you about mind mapping. You ever thought about using mind mapping? Man, I ain't got enough time in a day. Cool, you ever heard about mind mapping? Man, I've been trying to pitch people my product and they really ain't buying it. Have you ever thought about mind mapping? You see how all of these hooks get me in? It's not one hook. You got to be able to get into your story from 45 different angles. It's still the same story and it's still the same offer. If we go to religion, my family is my kids hate me. Cool, come to church. We'll pray for you. Man, my wife is going to leave me. Come to church. Man, my mom just got sick. Come to church. We'll pray for you. See how they got all the hooks to get you into the same Jesus, to get you in the same synagogue, the same mosque, the same whatever. The problem is that we usually only think about one hook. We only know how to get into our stuff one way. You got to have all the ways. Think through them so that you're not surprised. Is this fair? Does this help? Why that's the really, because you know, John's call to action was great, right? You remember his original thing? His call to action was on point. He reacted to the hook. John, tell us what you do. I do mind mapping. Cool. That's all I wanted to know is what he did. But he had left out this part. And once he fixed that part, a black and white thing turned colorful. Right? Cool. We got 3 minutes to go. Was this helpful? Is this super duper duper helpful? This is how you tell stories, right? That's how you get into it. Any other questions before we hop off today?
I have a question.
AJ, real quick. AJ, show Expert Secrets book behind you, right? This is Russell's book that covers all of these things way more detail. One of the best books I've ever read on how to share your ideas. Look, I got 600 books in my Audible. I used to read a book a week for like 15 years. This is the go-to place for learning how to share your stories. What were you going to ask, Ange, before we head out? Andrew, you muted.
No, I just thought I just wanted to give John kudos for sharing his story today. And I think it's valuable to share it with other people and get feedback. So just wanted to put it out there for people to reach out to each other and connect and get feedback on your stories the same way that Ron did. I know sometimes we go on podcasts or speaking to doing it before. AJ and I were talking about that's game time, right? So practicing with people before game time is valuable.
Yep.
And I think everyone here would be open to it.
So here's the way that you can do this using the same technique that we did yesterday, right? Record your video, right? Upload it to a company like Exemplary AI.
Yes.
Can you see my screen? Right? So you can upload it to Exemplary AI or something like this. They got like a free version. They give you so many minutes per month. You can upload that audio. Take the audio from that. You can see, this is what I do. I practice all of my pitches. I tell you, look, I'm practicing everything. I upload the transcript, and then you take it over to OpenAI. You go into Chat GPT and you say, are you familiar with the hook, story, offer, presentation format? Right? Right? So they have it in there, right? And then you can ask about the Epiphany Bridge. What about the big domino, which is the easy one? So
I was going to help you spell epiphany, bro, if you needed help with that.
you gonna help me spell what?
I was going to help you spell epiphany if you needed help with that down there. I saw you stopped at EP. Stopped at EP like
Yeah, I had an epiphany. I should type in domino instead. I had an epiphany. I can spell domino easy, right? But there it is right there. So he brought up the domino statement, right? What's the core belief, right? Build it around it, knock down the big domino, and that's how we do it. Does this make sense? So now that I understand that, how do we do it? So how do you spell Epiphany Bridge? Look at that, no squiggly lines. So it brings it up. Now, I just use this to prompt it so that you all can see it already knows this stuff. So when you tell it, hey, does my thing follow the Epiphany Bridge format? What's the backstory? What are the internal struggles? What's the internal struggles? So it's giving it to me for SpeakerHub. Makes sense. See how it just did it for me with SpeakerHub? Now, take it, massage it, make it yours. It's giving it to me from my other company, PitchDB. Right? Lowers resistance, make the offer feel inevitable, builds trust and credibility. Got it? So you just paste your thing in and ask if you follow that format and to coach you against it. Right? So let me show you really quickly. Let me go over, I think I did this yesterday. No, I didn't. Here, let me show you here. Watch this. Because I think I got a few minutes before my next call. So we're in the overtime, guys. We do this every day. We hop into overtime, and overtime is when we are, shoot, I can't do two things at one time. Means we're past 1 o'clock, and you can hop in and ask your questions with us every day from 12 to 1. At 1 p.m., we go into overtime where we keep going into my next meeting. So let's see. Let me find one. Let me go here and do for, let's find win back. I think that's the one I'm looking for. Bam, right? So I'm going to take this and I'm going to take the transcript, YouTube transcript, which is what we do. Put in the link into YouTube transcript so we can get the transcript here. Bam. Once it loads up the transcript, I think that page doesn't work anymore. So I got to find another one. Let's try this one, tactic. This one hasn't been working for the last few days. Me and AJ have been trying to get it to work. I guess they got shut down. All right, so now I can take this here. It has the whole thing, and watch what I'm going to do. All right, see you guys later, whoever has to leave. And then I'm going to come over to ChatGPT. All right, where's my ChatGPT? And did I already have one open? I can't find it. Thought I had that open already. Here we go. Watch this. All right. Analyze this transcript and tell me if I followed the Epiphany Bridge. And we put that in. But it does not follow the Epiphany Bridge framework. Here's why. I didn't open with a personal but relatable story. You see how it's helping me? I was strong on features and solution, but I lacked the emotional journey of discovery. Does that make sense? So I want to show you one that does this that I know I did it right on. Really quick, any other questions before I go into this? I think it's on YouTube.
I have a
Lead.
question.
Yep, go ahead.
Who got lunch?
AJ and Sayron, because they both are right.
All right.
The
Just want
AJ,
to make sure. I'm just.
yeah, no, AJ and Sayron. AJ mentioned that I always go and show her their rank. That's, yep. And then Sayron, beforehand, I was about to say in Spanish, antes. Beforehand, we used to go to a guy's page, Sean Fair, to show how he had his page set up, right? But yeah, so AJ and Saran, AJ, we'll get you some ordered off of Rappi, and Saran, I don't know how to do it, but send me your Cash App, and I'll send you money for lunch today. But Linda, thank you for joining us. This has been really cool. Larry, it's always good to see you. And I don't know where you are in the world today, but it's always good to see you also, you and your team. Hopefully this was helpful, guys. We're pushing towards the speak to promote world. You know, we got to get back to where our origin stories are from. I think Ann helps a lot of people with what she does with construction. She had a very similar conversation. She was like, look, I've been focusing on this speaking thing, and I forgot that I'm in the construction world. I am good at this. And I'm like, Ann, you get it. you get it. So high five to those who are having those epiphanies and making the connection about how they can better help the people who want their help. Any other questions? What is it? Cash App? Something, I don't know who she's talking to.
No, Sayron is talking to me. Sayron says she's fasting. And I said, whenever you're ready for it, we'll send you food. Don't worry. And she's like, well, what is it?
You can order whatever you want. We're just gonna send you some money. You can go
Yeah,
buy whatever you
you
want.
hear me, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
we got you. But
Yeah,
Sayron
I
is
think,
actually actually she's observing Ramadan right now. So
Yeah,
you
you
know,
can
so
tell.
so at
Dinner.
up until I think it's 7 o'clock Eastern.
Seven,
So
yeah, it's like fasting almost 20 hours. No
Yeah.
water, no nothing. Yeah, for 1 month. Yeah.
so we got you. We're gonna help you. So we'll make sure that you and your husband can order something nice, or whenever Ramadan's over, you all can go to a decent restaurant. But
And Ron is still lagging. There is lingering still, right?
the first 5 seconds it wasn't, and then it's
Yeah,
like
I think it's the Zoom owned by Microsoft, and this is Mag. Maybe they are not talking with each other because of Apple and.
yeah, I don't know, but
This is the speaker too. I took the speaker out. The microphone. The microphone. Do you think the microphone will affect?
what microphone are you using? Are you using the microphone on the computer or the mic a
Now
separate
it's
mic?
built, and it used to be a separate microphone, and it's broke. That was not functioning.
Yeah, there's still some lag there right now. A lot of times it could be the external mics, but for some reason it worked for the first 5 minutes and then it went crazy.
Maybe I should get a external microphone. Thank you very much for
Yeah,
everything.
no
Thank
problem.
you, Stella.
Any other questions, guys? Linda, was this helpful? You can unmute and say,
Absolutely. I loved it. I wish I could attend more often.
yep. Well, we're here every day. Come on out.
Yeah, I'm
Right.
teaching little kids every day. I'm on spring break, so it was a rare treat to be able to come. Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for
All
the
right.
work you're doing with
Yep.
John too.